for more support. Frontline workers speak up about the increased call load because of overdoses in Saskatoon. Remembering victims of Saskatchewan's deadliest bus crash, a new memorial on the Trans-Canada in southern Saskatchewan. And a summer pest that's really ticking people off, what researchers are keeping a close watch on.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the overdose overload in Saskatoon. The fire department says crews are struggling to keep up with the increase in calls and says the province needs to step up and provide additional resources. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
The union representing Saskatoon firefighters is calling for more support as fire crews continue to see a significant number of overdoses.
The comment that we get a lot is, why are we going to the same person over and over? Where are those wraparound supports? And again, that's where we're asking the province to help us out and step in with that. That's the biggest question that we're getting.
Protz told media that while Saskatoon fire crews are trained to respond to overdoses, firefighters often handle tasks that should be delegated to other organizations.
We didn't sign up for that part of the job. We signed up to be firefighters. We signed up to help with cardiac arrests, car accidents, those sorts of things. Social work is not our realm of expertise, and yet here we are providing some of that.
According to the City of Saskatoon, there have been almost 1,800 overdose calls between the beginning of the year and June 5th. In a statement to CTV News, the province acknowledged that overdoses continue to be a serious issue across North America, adding, quote, "The government of Saskatchewan is focused on getting more people the addictions treatment they need to overcome their addictions and live healthy, safe lives in recovery. Reducing wait times for addiction services continues to be a priority for the Ministry of Health." Protz says the Saskatoon Fire Department is struggling to keep up with calls that require more support from other organizations.
When they just walk away after we've get them in the lock zone, trying to track that person down, try and give them the resources needed, that's probably not up to us.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon firefighters rescuing a resident and their pet from an apartment fire in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood. Crews were called just after 11 o'clock last night to the 200 block of Avenue V South. They arrived to find heavy smoke and flames coming from a third-floor balcony. From the outside, firefighters used a ladder to bring one person and an animal to safety from an adjacent balcony. A search of the building confirmed everyone else was able to get out. No one was injured, and investigators now looking into the cause and damage estimates. Prince Albert police say a fire in their parking lot is no longer considered suspicious. The service says after reviewing security footage from the police station and surrounding area, the fire is now deemed accidental. On Sunday, firefighters were called to put out flames that had started in a wooden structure. A 27-year-old man is facing a string of charges after a vehicle rammed an RCMP vehicle in Little Red River. RCMP say officers found a truck reported stolen from Prince Albert outside a home in Little Red River the afternoon of June 12th. As an officer was getting out of their vehicle, the truck reversed at a high rate of speed, slamming into the police cruiser. No one was injured, but the RCMP vehicle was severely damaged. When police arrested the suspect, they found a gun and a knife on him. He faces 10 charges in connection to the incident. A man from southern Saskatchewan has been charged with trafficking weapons. During a search of a home near Estevan earlier this month, police found 4 guns and ammunition, as well as a handheld item officers believed was an explosive device. It turned out it was an empty case and did not contain explosive materials. A search of another home in Frobisher turned up a gun that was stolen from Estevan and illegally sold. A 23-year-old man is now facing a string of charges, which include 1 weapons trafficking offense. After 46 years, it remains Saskatchewan's deadliest roadway crash and one of the worst in Canadian history. It's marked by a monument in southwestern Saskatchewan that now holds a new plaque, paying respect to a team of railway workers, including 22 who never came home. Damien Smith takes us to the dedication ceremony.
As trains and vehicles pass by, a monument stands beside the Trans-Canada Highway west of Swift Current. A plaque bears the names of 22 men killed in one of the deadliest crashes in Canadian history. Brent Kammer was in the first fire truck to arrive on scene.
When I was in Webb, you could see the smoke half a mile in the air. You knew that it was bad. So when we got here, everybody just went to work. All of the community came.
On May 28, 1980, a Canadian Pacific Railway crew known as the Prairie Region Steel Gang was riding in a school bus when it crashed just outside of Webb, Saskatchewan. It left 22 dead and another 8 injured.
We all fought the fire and finally got it out and realized that there was a terrific amount of death in this and everything. But thank God there were some people that lived through it.
One of those survivors is Daryl Flamond. He was 18 at the time of the crash. 46 years later, he was among a crowd on hand to dedicate a new plaque at the crash site.
It changed my life, put it that way. And I'm here today at this memorial site as part of my personal closure. It's a little emotional, obviously, because I lost a lot of friends and relatives.
The new plaque providing more of the history of what happened here.
Having this piece here, I do believe that people are going to come here, stop, understand the story better, and share the story at the next stop.
The Steel Gang's members coming from all over Canada, their memories forever held by Flamond and the other survivors.
I'm just grateful that I was able to survive and able to live this long, because many people don't have the chance because of accidents or alcohol abuse. And I ended up surviving both of those things.
Of the 22 lives lost, 12 of them were from Newfoundland, 9 from Manitoba, and 1 from Ontario. Damien Smith, CTV News, just outside of Webb.
The province has set up an online tool to help impacted people by spring flooding. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency is launching an online portal with information residents, communities, businesses, and producers might find helpful. The SPSA says the website features emergency support and recovery information, as well as flood forecast advisories. You can find the information by going to saskatchewan.ca/residents/emergency/flooding-support.
Ready windows, take windows.
All right, Jeff, it turned out to be not a bad day, but a little bit of rain this afternoon in Saskatoon.
I was like, hey, this isn't so bad. Some sunshine. It's not super windy. And then mid-afternoon, a blast of rain. It didn't last long. We certainly had some people in other parts of the province saying they got a little bit of rain out in the Kerrobert area. We got a report from it in that area. But generally, it looks a whole lot like yesterday. These pop-up showers sort of angling through Alberta into Saskatchewan, and then the Plains states and on to the Midwest and parts of central Canada. We do anticipate this is going to start to calm down, but still the chance of some showers is there, and we'll talk about the details later on.
Saskatchewan is experiencing a busy tick season. CTV's Laura Woodward now on the trends researchers are seeing and the ways you can protect yourself and your pets.
These ticks were removed from an 8-pound dog by the Martensville Veterinary Hospital.
Owners are generally pretty surprised and kind of grossed out when they find them on their pets. They always want to check in their ears, around their eyes.
And this year, Kate Dean says she's seeing more ticks.
So generally we see ticks in pets that have been through tall grass or light bush. That's pretty common. But this year we're starting to see more pets that have just, hung out in their own backyard.
eTick, a self-reporting tick database, has already received 750 submissions, a number it didn't reach until the end of June last year. Researchers say ticks are being detected in the north and western parts of the province, areas where they weren't historically seen.
Being introduced by birds or people, and then establish in kind of a few different spots in the province. And so now it's getting up there into areas where it's really new.
Most of the ticks found in Saskatchewan are the American dog ticks, but researchers are keeping a close eye on the black-legged ticks, which can carry Lyme disease.
So that number has been increasing every year.
These ones are prescription.
Experts recommend using preventative medications for pets and doing thorough checks after spending time outside. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new partnership could be in the works for the proposed downtown event and entertainment district. City administration will be asking council for approval to start negotiations with Muskeg Lake Cree Nation that could see the land for the district turned into an urban reserve. Administration is recommending council explore negotiations with the understanding that no commitments can be made without approval by both Saskatoon City and Muskeg Lake Cree Nation councils. The city administration will pitch the idea to council next Wednesday. Meewasin Valley Authority leadership was at Saskatoon City Hall today presenting plans for a national urban park. Speaking at a committee meeting, Meewasin CEO Mike Valonis says the national designation will help provide an injection of funding while Meewasin would still have local authority. Meewasin and Parks Canada have been negotiating the creation of a national urban park running through Saskatoon for the last 5 years. The park would be along the South Saskatchewan riverbanks with boundaries drawn south of Beaver Creek, going northwards to an area northeast of Wanuskewin Heritage Park. Valonis says most of the big picture items have been sorted now that they are working on logistics.
Now we're in a phase where we're trying to figure out all of the details, dotting T's, crossing I's, trying to figure out what the logistical implications and operational implications are of doing all those fun big dot things.
Valonis says he expects to have more details on the project's timeline in the next 6 to 12 months. A long-serving Saskatchewan Conservative MP is stepping away from politics this summer. Yorkton-Melville Member of Parliament Kathy Wagenthal said despite her original plan to continue representing the riding until another election, she'll give up her seat as of August 31st. Wagenthal says she's been blessed to represent the riding where she's held office for more than a decade as she was first elected in 2015. The area's Conservative nominating committee recently selected Nelson Pohl as the riding's Tory candidate for the next federal election. As Canadian Western Agribition gears up for another year, it's keeping a close watch on the sale of several properties where the show is hosted in Regina. Sierra D'Souza Butts on whether the sale could impact events.
The first sign of Brandt's takeover of Regina's Real District as renovations to the YQR liquor are in store.
We started out with very few facilities, so construction isn't new to us.
The repairs come after the City of Regina's recent approval of Brandt purchasing several properties at Real. As the first phase is set to begin in July with the Ag X buildings, Canadian Western Agribition says it's actively working with Brandt to ensure any impacts to this year's Agribition are minimal.
I'm fortunate enough to have conversations directly with Sean Semple with Brandt, so we do talk quite frequently. We talked yesterday, so again, he's aware of the risks that we have, and it's something that we're monitoring.
Adding, Agribition brings in ranchers from around the world and has grown into a week-long event compared to when it first started 55 years ago.
We were pretty clear at council. We need to make sure that, our costings protected, our footprints protected, as well as, our dates. Agribition doesn't happen in August, so we are in fluent conversations with Brandt today on what a new agreement looks like and, making sure that Agribition is protected.
The $6.5 million deal will also see the purchase of the Canada Centre building, commercial cattle barn, Queensbury Convention Centre, Stockman's building, and the Brandt Centre. The City of Regina saying the infrastructure investment will benefit the city for decades to come.
I would say what it does is it accelerates our opportunities for further economic opportunity for the city and ensures that those buildings are able to be used well into the future and that we don't let them degrade any further.
As officials work through the logistics for the Real District's new ownership, planning is still underway for this year's Canadian Western Agribition taking place in November. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A name for Saskatoon's public schools' new high school in the future Holmwood neighborhood has been decided. The name Holmwood Collegiate was approved at last night's board meeting. Holmwood Collegiate will be located in the Holmwood area adjacent to the Brighton neighborhood and will share a site with a new Catholic high school, which will be St. Pierre Giorgio Forsati High School. A future City of Saskatoon Leisure Center is also planned for the area. Saskatchewan is taking on a bigger role in the global fight against infectious diseases, with VIDO signing a new international agreement. The goal to make the Saskatoon-based research facility the North American hub of a leading European pandemic research network. The Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization signed the agreement with a leading European research network. During a ceremony in Paris, Premier Scott Moe joined leaders from VIDO and the University of Saskatchewan for the signing. The partnership will help advance international research on emerging disease threats and support the development of new vaccines, diagnostics, and treatments. Volker Gertz, the head of VIDO, says the infrastructure which exists at labs here is the perfect fit for the European collaboration.
Infectious diseases continue to be a threat to us, to Canadians, but also to our industries, our livestock, our animals. And so you need to have facilities that have the ability to quickly respond when these new diseases break out. And that's what VIDO is going to do as Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research.
Officials say the agreement builds on decades of investment in VIDO and its role as Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. They expect the partnership to create new opportunities for international projects, scientific exchanges, and funding, while strengthening global preparedness for future outbreaks. A Saskatoon elementary school got a boost today for their love of reading. A celebration was held at St. Marguerite School this morning in honor of a grant of $40,000 it's receiving from the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation's Literacy Fund. The money is meant to help update and renew school libraries to ensure students always have access to books that reflect their identities, experiences, and communities.
So we're gonna come together as a committee. We're gonna figure out what the needs are for the school and what the resources are that we would like for our students to be able to have, and then we'll go to work and gathering material to share with you and people in the community as well.
St. Louis Public School in St. Louis will also receive $10,000 in funding. Since its founding in 2004, the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation has given almost $30.5 million to more than 500 Canadian schools. Auditions are open for Telemiracle 51. The process to audition for the show is online only this year. Video applications can be submitted through the Telemiracle website, where you can send in an application and a video. Auditions close September 30th. Telemiracle 51 runs February 27th and 28th, 2027, here in Saskatoon. Canada takes on Qatar in Vancouver tomorrow at the World Cup. Game time is 4 o'clock Saskatchewan time. You can watch it right here on CTV, which means there will be no 5 o'clock news tomorrow. The 6 o'clock news will be a half-hour show starting at 6:30. Hope you can join us then. You can also watch us online anytime at ctvnews.ca/Saskatoon. Still to come, what's being recommended for medical assistance in dying for Canadians with mental health issues. Also, a scathing report into an ocean disaster off the coast of Newfoundland. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. A harsh report into the Titan submersible disaster. Canada's Transportation Safety Board has slammed the lack of regulatory oversight. The craft imploded 3 years ago near the wreck of the Titanic, killing 7 people. CTV's Garrett Berry is close to the harbor in St. John's with that story.
One of the things we've learned today is just how much correspondence there was between OceanGate officials and various government agencies. Some correspondence went back for years, but despite all of that contact, key information did not make its way to regulators at Transport Canada. In July 2021, during one of many missions of the Titan submersible that began in Canada, a DFO representative boarded the cargo vessel Horizon Arctic to observe the mission. That representative wrote back to others at DFO with serious concerns. The Titan sub was never certified by a regulatory body. It used a rare carbon fiber construction, and OceanGate had no insurance.
We have no evidence that those concerns were provided to Transport Canada. They were raised internally within the Department of Fisheries and Oceans.
One of many communication breakdowns highlighted by the Transportation Safety Board in a report released today.
These governments all had sort of pieces of the puzzle about the Titans operation, but nobody managed to connect all of these pieces together and be able to essentially identify the nature of that operation and the risks that it presented.
The report also highlights testing and construction failures that contributed to the disaster. Worldwide attention came to St. John's when cargo ship Polar Prince lost contact with the Titan in June 2023. But for its top headline, TSB wrote that OceanGate received almost no oversight, despite a series of dives and tests working with Canadian vessels over the course of 2 years. The TSB makes it clear that this isn't a totally unique situation. There are lots of small commercial vessels across the country that do not see oversight by Transport Canada. The board wants authorities at Transport Canada to start making a new policy that would capture some of those small but risky vessels. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
A key report from a special parliamentary committee today is recommending against the expansion of medical assistance in dying for those suffering with mental health issues. CTV's Abigail Beeman on why committee members want this group excluded from eligibility.
Since I was 11, I've wanted to die.
Living in poverty with anxiety, PTSD, borderline personality, and major depressive disorders among his diagnoses, Mitchell Tremblay is torn over the parliamentary committee's recommendation to indefinitely exclude people from accessing medical assistance in dying if the sole reason is mental illness.
5 years ago, I was cheering only for this expansion. This is all I wanted. And now today, I'll tell you, 75% of me thinks this is a win, that we're saving lives.
The majority of the special parliamentary committee and experts agree.
MAID should never be made available for people with mental illness. I say that as someone who is himself a suicide survivor and might not be here had the expansion that's set to come into law been on the books 15 years ago.
There are dissenting views also, with the July 11th deadline.
If you're comfortable with you and your family and your medical professions, then the rest of us should just butt out. It's not our life. It's not our choice.
Meanwhile, Tremblay faces an eviction threat. Frightened, he's bracing to be homeless for the 8th time. That's linked to the 25% of him unhappy to potentially lose MAID as an option.
I'm terrified, and to take that option off the table from me, I get angry and I get scared, and I see that in a lot of the people that I'm talking to every day on social media. And there isn't any kind of a solution for it other than more support.
Yet Tremblay says he's feeling more hope than usual, that perhaps society will finally recognize supports needed for vulnerable people.
All these things add up, and what people feel is that they're not worth it.
The government will decide whether to legislate the change. The Justice Minister won't commit to a timeline for next steps, saying it will take at least several weeks to digest the report. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
At the G7 summit, the tentative agreement to stop the Iran war receiving backing from world leaders today, including Canada's Prime Minister.
The fact that so many countries were involved in its development and are vested in its development does create knock-on effects, positive knock-on effects.
Mark Carney says the deal is a possible game changer and insists the war is worth it if it means Tehran does not get a nuclear weapon. The PM says he has always believed that Iran is the biggest exporter of terror. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to resume hostilities if he does not like what he hears from Iranian negotiators. The agreement is set to be signed on Friday. A change in the makeup of Canada's population, with fewer immigrants being admitted in the first quarter of the year. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver on what's behind the decline.
Meet Kumar Pathak came to Canada from India 13 years ago as an international student looking for new opportunities. In the years since, he's become a Canadian citizen and a business owner. But for many of his friends, the ending hasn't been as happy.
A lot of my close friends, a lot of my relatives, that they are going back to India because they cannot have the right opportunity here and the right time, you know. So it's very tough, very, very tough right now in Canada for immigrant.
According to Statistics Canada, the population dipped by about 55,000 people in the first 3 months of 2026. A big reason, a 20% drop in the number of permanent immigrants from around 104,000 in Q1 of 2025 to just over 83,000 in Q1 of 2026. 2026. A reflection, immigration lawyers say, of the federal government's lower immigration targets and longer processing times.
There's always more demand for the number of spaces than we have actual spaces in any given year. However, I do see a sea change happening because we're starting to see now that people are looking elsewhere other than Canada for their career opportunities and their futures.
Those immigration cuts mean the arrival of newcomers is no longer propping up population growth that continues to be dragged down by declining fertility rates.
Canada as a country, we've been experiencing declining fertility for the past few decades. The baby boom was a blip in terms of that increased fertility level. Since then, we've been on that downward trajectory.
If this trend continues, economists say that economic growth could be impacted. Statistics Canada says this is all based on preliminary data and that final updates will be available in September. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
All right, Jeff, the weekend is still looking a wee bit rainy.
A wee bit rainy, particularly for Father's Day. Hey, that's the way things are shaping up now. It could change, but right now we've seen this consistent pattern where Father's Day looks like it's going to be a bit of a soaker. So, hey, you're indoors celebrating Dad. That's all right. Let's take a look at our numbers for today. We got ourselves 16 degrees right now. That's the same temperature in Prince Albert, some light rain in Prince Albert. We just had a little bit of light rain in Saskatoon within the last half hour or so, but didn't add up to a lot. 19 degrees in the Battlefords, and as you can see, wind speeds are all pretty consistently in and around that 20 click mark and kind of out of the north, so we're dealing with a bit of a coolish wind. 19 degrees, that was our temperature high in Saskatoon around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Otherwise, we had some rain come in and cool things off. 23 degrees is typical for this time of year, so certainly below that, nowhere near the record warm temperature of 35 degrees set in 1988, the record cold temperature 0 from 1949, and the sun is going to go down at 9:30.
Coming up, a tiny town built on the 3 R's. A look at a man committed to doing more with less.
Thursday on Your Morning Saskatchewan, it's the latest edition of X's and O's. With the injury bug hitting the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Wes Cates shares what the team needs to do as they head to Calgary this weekend.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. Well, as I mentioned earlier on, we did have a little bit of shower activity roll through Saskatoon within the last hour or so. But again, you don't see a lot going on here right now. You know, cumulus clouds for the most part, but nothing right now that that indicates that we're expecting imminent rain. But look at it, things are really greening up. Now, speaking of green, for those of you with color TVs, all this green as it stretches across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and parts of Manitoba into the Plain States and the Great Lakes region in the American Midwest. It's a large system that's got a big sort of an anchor down in the U.S., the part of that Montana low that we talked about, but that's not the only thing creating it. But it looks a lot like yesterday, not as intense as yesterday for the prairie provinces, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on currently. Just to recap, 16 degrees in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, some light showers in the Prince Albert region, 19 in the Battlefords. The hot spot, that was Waseca at 20 degrees. Spiritwood, the cold spot, at 5. Around the province we go, starting off with the big towns. 19 degrees in Lloydminster, 13 in Swift Current and Moose Jaw, 18 in Regina, 17 in Yorkton, and 16 in Estevan. Into central parts of the province, temperatures in the mid to high teens. Waskesiu at 14 right now, 17 in Kindersley and Meadow Lake. It's 16 in Spiritwood and 15 in Hudson Bay, 16 in Nipawin, 15 in Wynyard. Up north, temperatures don't change all that much. It's 12 degrees right now in the south end, but everyone else a little warmer than that. 13 in Key Lake and Collins Bay. It gets up to 16 in both Buffalo, Narrows, and La Ronge. And down south, again, not a big change in temperatures. It's as warm as 19 on this part of our map at Leader, but it does cool off to 14 in that, or rather 13. That's in East End, 14 in Coronach, 16 in Carlisle, 17 in Melville, and Indian Head and Broadview. So here's our future cast. So once again, we do anticipate some pop-up showers. Now, it's not the kind of thing where we go, oh, it's because of daytime heating, even though it is, but it's not going to be a really hot day tomorrow. But yes, these pop-up showers as we roll into tomorrow. tomorrow. There are still a couple of watch boxes in terms of severe thunderstorm activity in Alberta, a warning in British Columbia, but nothing for Saskatchewan. For tomorrow, we've got ourselves temperatures in the double digits for northern Saskatchewan, a chance of showers in Stony Rapids, Buffalo Narrows, and Key Lake. A lot more active weather for west central Saskatchewan with temperatures around 16 or 17 degrees. A similar temperature pattern and sky condition for southwestern Saskatchewan, a chance of, or at least a risk of thunderstorms in Maple Creek, Leader, and Swift Current. Into the southeast where it calms down a little bit. Showers expected in Moose Jaw, otherwise mainly cloudy skies in Yorkton, Regina, and Estevan, and temperatures around 19 degrees. And that temperature pattern is continues into east central Saskatchewan with a mix of sky conditions. Hudson Bay expecting a chance of showers. Slight chance of showers overnight into tomorrow for the Battlefords. Windy conditions tomorrow with a high of 17. And then a bit of a cool weekend as we get towards Sunday, 14 degrees, and a rainy day for Father's Day. For Prince Albert, dropping down to 9 degrees tonight, 10 degrees warmer for a high tomorrow, and then 19 again on Friday, 21 on Saturday. Father's Day, a slight chance of showers and 18 degrees, but a cool start to the work week at 16 with a chance of showers. And Saskatoon, still a chance of showers tonight with a risk of a thunderstorm, 18 degrees tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies. And then the long-range forecast for Saskatoon up to 22 by Saturday, but cooling off big time with rain on Sunday for Father's Day, and a cool start to the work week, 60% chance of showers and a high of 16. Singer Bonnie Tyler is out of a coma after emergency surgery last month. In an update to fans, the singer's family says she is still unwell and will stay in intensive care in Portugal. The message goes on to say doctors are confident she will recover. Bonnie Tyler is known for her hits Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding Out for a Hero.
Halt! Who goes there?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I come in peace?
It's been too long, cowboy.
Hollywood insiders are expecting a strong debut for the latest Toy Story movie this weekend. That's not a stretch, guys. Toy Story 5 officially hits theaters Friday, and Deadline reports it could be on track for a franchise best debut weekend on $140 million U.S. across North America. Buzz, Woody, and the rest of the main toys return and face off against a tablet, pitting playtime against screen time as the nearly 31-year-old franchise makes its return. Yeah, I feel old.
Do not make me call your mom!
What in the...
Speaking of the Mouse Kingdom, Disney has released the trailer for an upcoming magical coming-of-age tale. Hexed follows Billy, an unconventional teenage girl who discovers she has magical abilities and is soon cast into a mysterious world. The cast includes Haley Steinfeld, Rashida Jones, Tracy Ullman, and Stephen Fry. Hexed is scheduled to hit theaters November 25th.
All right, Jeff.
Disney, they're busy, busy, busy.
Disney is very busy these days, and so are you, sifting through all the picks of the day.
And we get a lot of them. These are the three we have picked for today. This one, hey, you know what? We love to see the moisture out there, and this comes from Jay, and Jay calls this an acreage view. There may be a bit more water for that dugout or slough as we make our way into the weekend. Donna sends us next one. This tells us this picture was taken at Candle Lake on June 6th. So that is a lovely sunset. So thank you, Donna, for sharing that. And finally, from James Herrick. James writes, these 5 pelicans made a fishing stop in our neighborhood lake at supper time. And there you go. So, hey, pelicans got to eat. All right, if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please put pick of the day in the subject line. That really helps when we sift through the pictures.
Still to come on CTV News, the artwork that aims to reduce and recycle. We take you to the tiny town built on reusing. An 83-year-old man from Edmonton is aiming to reduce waste at his retirement home. He's built a mini town made from recycled materials. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti takes us there.
This is the town of Recycle. Like many towns in Alberta, it has a school, a church, and a farm with animals.
I started with a cardboard box because I could see
something in it.
That vision turned into this, a town made of 90% recycled materials. 83-year-old Russ Drury used popsicle sticks, a can from the cafeteria, cardboard, and a Kleenex box.
So I built the outhouse and I wallpapered the inside.
After a lesson on recycling from St. Andrew Center, Drury took it to the next level with his creation.
Because there was so much waste, you know. We want it more and more to be recycled, which we are doing now.
I thought, thank goodness, because I always found a purpose for everything. I never threw it out.
Drury is no stranger to building. He used to have a workshop, but stopped due to medical issues. Creating the town of Recycle helped reignite his creativity.
So instead of using machinery, now I'm working with a pair of scissors, a utility knife, and glue.
Drury added some personal touches to the town, like the general store.
My wife's name and mine, our initials, and the year we were married.
Its small streets and warm details have inspired the residents in more ways than one.
Now that he's doing it, I think people are recycling a lot more, which is good.
I think a lot of people could pick up on the project and have ideas of their own too. Just because you're old doesn't mean that you can't do anything, for one thing.
The town of Recycle has a population of 0 right now, but that could change.
Everybody thinks that I should build a hotel to go with this town. So I guess that's another project to get going.
Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
When we come back, what the riders are up against when they play on the weekend, and later, bridging a giant gap.
Here's what's happening in our community. Saskatoon Summer Players present the classic Broadway musical Oliver, June 19th to 21st at the Ramey Arts Centre. For more information, saskatoonsummerplayers.ca. The 2026 Rock Your Roots Walk for Reconciliation is set for Friday, June 19th. After the walk, Reconciliation Saskatoon will host a program and activities in the park. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Oh, welcome back. It's time to take a look at our rural forecast. And as you can see, a little more inclement weather still in play for parts of western Saskatchewan. That's certainly true of Meadow Lake and Spiritwood and Lloydminster and Kindersley. A possibility of some thunderstorms. Outlook, 17 degrees and a possibility of some showers. But as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, that's not the case. Things are starting to calm down. Hudson Bay, yeah, okay, a little bit of chance of some shower activity. But pop-up showers, they can pop up anywhere, and it looks like they're going to be popping up across the Southland. And along with that, there's some instability, so we do anticipate at least the risk of some thunderstorms. You don't expect a lot of nasty weather, but the threat is certainly there. Let's see what the situation is for Merrifield tomorrow. Well, those are one of the communities where there is shower activity expected along with the risk of a thunderstorm. Not particularly windy. There's windier in other parts of the province. Winds out of the north 40 gusting to, out of the north 20 gusting to 40. 17 degrees for a high, and Merrifield is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. Riders once again coming off a season-opening victory against the BC Lions that showed a lot of promise, and they're facing the Calgary Stampeders this Saturday. So Wes, what's your confidence level, especially on this offense? You said going to the BC game you wanted to see them throw the ball, and man, they throw the ball. Harris above 80% completion percentage again, and Emelis was just 9 yards away from 100 yards. They would have had 3 receivers in the 100 yards range.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to see Trevor Harris get off to a good start and, just kind of throw it around the yard a bit and see how the passing game was going to come together. I just didn't want them to get off to a slow start, and they surely didn't. But BC's a good team. They got back into it. Nathan Rourke's a heck of a player. He threw for 350 almost, rushed for another 60. But Trevor with that 400 was amazing. I think this week, though, is just going to be all about, it's more of a mental battle. You go in there, this offense is the only team they couldn't beat, they couldn't handle last year was Calgary. And here we go going into Calgary against pretty much an offense is going to look the same, and a Calgary defense is going to look pretty similar. So the question is going to be, how is the Riders offense going to be able to handle that situation? I know they're going to have some confidence based on all the studs we have on that offense, but at the same time, this was the only team they couldn't get over the hump on, Lee, so it's going to be interesting. It should be interesting to see how it plays out early, and hopefully they can get the offense going quick again as they did this past week with BC.
Now, Mark Mueller, the offensive coordinator for the Riders, he came from the Calgary Stampeders. He was on the coaching staff there. Corey Mace, while he came from Toronto, he was with Calgary first in his coaching career. So they're kind of from the Dave Dickinson tree. So how much of that as a connection does that maybe impact in this game? Do you think Dave has a little idea of kind of how both like to operate?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely when you know that you've kind of brought a guy, it's kind of like, it's like, can you beat the sensei, or does the sensei still have some tricks in his bag that he didn't show you? And I think that's a little bit of what you're going to see. I think if you kind of tutored a guy and he came up under you, you always think that, the teacher is going to always beat the student. But obviously this Riders defense is going to have something to say about that as well. So I think Mark Mueller obviously is going to have some things that he knows how to do, but I think Dave is going to understand that and maybe give some tricks to the Calgary defense and defensive coordinator to handle that. But it's going to be how both defenses kind of play against these high-powered offenses.
Yeah, Roland Milligan Jr. is going to be out of the lineup, but I'm not too worried. Juju Hughes looked pretty good in the preseason, so I think he'll be able to handle that halfback spot. But pressuring, same story with Vernon Adams Jr. He's a mobile quarterback, just keeping that pressure on him, making sure he's not getting out of the pocket.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's tough, and this is a running quarterback league for the most part. You either got to get rid of it quick or be able to extend play. So I think that's going to be a big part of it. Obviously, we had a couple of sacks out of the Riders defensive line, and definitely had some big play. We've seen Antoine Brooks Jr. get, 13 tackles. He was all over the place. So this team is looking pretty good. The defense is looking good early in the season, but it's a tall task when you have a quarterback that can move out the pocket and extend play. So we'll see if they can't get some pressure and get him down before he can scramble and use his legs.
Yeah, you mentioned Calgary swept the season series last year against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So can the Riders stop that skid? We'll find out on another edition of X's and O's.
Well, it's big day for Saskatchewan hunters with the results of the big game draw being posted. Hunters who applied can log into their hunting, angling, and trapping license online or HAL account to check for draw results and pool status. Pronghorn results will be posted in mid-July. Successful applicants will be able to buy licenses after August 1st. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is currently just over $1.62 a litre. The lowest price in town is $1.56.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $1.74 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $90.78. Coming up, a giant bridge reopens following a massive reno project. Then will this team or the Otter one win tomorrow's World Cup match?
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up at 7 tonight on CTV, starting with The Big Bang Theory. Well, a 200-year-old bridge in southwest China has reopened to the public after a 5-month renovation project. It was first built in 1825 with a total length of 142 meters and a height of 11.6 meters. It's the oldest and largest stone arch bridge still standing in the region. The bridge is an example of the era's stone arch bridge craftsmanship and also includes incredible stone carvings. That would be a lot of work to renovate.
And what sort of the redness of the bricks is pretty impressive.
That is really cool to look at. You'll be impressed by this story.
Oh, will I?
Otters at the Vancouver Aquarium are getting in on World Cup action, offering a prediction on who will win Canada's match against Qatar tomorrow. The Sea Otters were presented with the flags of the two countries, which were made from clam paste. The Otters navigated toward the Canadian flag. A home team is heavily favored to win the match tomorrow when the two teams play in Vancouver. And game time is 4 o'clock Saskatchewan time. You can watch it here on CTV, but that means our 5 o'clock show will not be seen. And 6 o'clock, we will actually be on just a half hour later for half an hour at 6:30.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's how it all shapes up with the World Cup tomorrow. We'll see.
Yep.
Got a hankering for anybody got a hankering for clam paste? There you go. Yum. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. Temperatures topping out mid-afternoon around 18 degrees. But look at that. It's going to be a windy day starting in the afternoon.
Didn't they say no to the cake?
I don't remember.
I think they did. Thanks for watching.